Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a good holiday weekend. Finn had a great holiday weekend, if you can't tell. um, okay, so today I thought it would be fun to switch it up a little bit because I'm working on this really cool story for a research project for school that even though I've been kind of Christian or Christian adjacent for most of my life, I had never heard of. And so I thought it would be really cool to read it. So the story is called Joseph and Aseneth. It is, or maybe I'm saying that wrong, Aseneth. And it is almost like fan fiction that is drawing on Genesis 40. So it's talking about Joseph, coat of many colors, Joseph. There's just this one line in scripture that says, "Oh, and Joseph was given this bride." Who is the daughter of an Egyptian priest, and it doesn't say anything else about that, but it would obviously be very countercultural for a Hebrew man to marry an Egyptian priest's daughter with no other explanation. So somebody has taken that idea, that plot hole, I guess, and ran with it. And the story is gorgeous. So I'm going to read some chunks of it over the next couple of days and just take a little break from the Psalms. And hopefully you guys like it. Let me see here. Here it is. Okay. Oh, also there's two versions. There's a short version called The Story of Aseneth, and then there's a longer version called Joseph and Aseneth. And I'm going to be doing that one because the longer one's a little bit more mystical, and I love it. Okay. Chapter 1. It came to pass in the first year of the 7 years of plenty, in the second month, that Pharaoh sent out Joseph to go round the whole land of Egypt. And Joseph came in the 4th month of the first year, on the 18th day of the month, into the district of Heliopolis. And he was collecting all the corn of that land as the sand of the sea. Now there was in that city a man, a satrap of Pharaoh, and this man was the chief of all Pharaoh's satraps and lords. And he was very rich and wise and generous, and he was Pharaoh's counselor. And his name was Ptahphress, and he was the priest of Heliopolis of On. And Ptahphress had a virgin daughter of about 18 years of age, tall and beautiful and graceful, more beautiful than any other virgin in the land. And she was quite unlike the daughters of the Egyptians, but in every respect like the daughters of the Hebrews. And she was tall as Sarah, as beautiful as Rebekah, as fair as Rachel, and this virgin's name was Aseneth. And the fame of her beauty spread through all the land, even to its remotest corners, and all the sons of the lords of the satraps and the kings sought her hand in marriage, young men, all of them. And there was a great rivalry between them because of her, and they began to fight amongst themselves because of Aseneth. And Pharaoh's eldest son heard about her, and he begged his father to give her to him as his wife. And he said to him, "Give me Aseneth, the daughter of Ptahphress, and priest of Heliopolis, as my wife." And his father Pharaoh said to him, "Why should you want a wife of lower station than yourself? Are you not king of all the earth? No, see now, the daughter of King Hokim is betrothed to you, and she is a queen and very beautiful indeed. Take her as your wife." Now Aseneth despised all men and regarded them with contempt. Yet no man had ever seen her, for Ptahphress had a tower in his house, and it was large and very high. The top story had 10 rooms in it. The first room was pleasant and large, and it was paved with purple stones, and its walls were faced with precious stones of different kinds. The ceiling of that room was of gold, and within it were ranged the innumerable gods of the Egyptians in gold and silver. And Aseneth worshipped all these, and she feared them and offered sacrifices to them. The second room contained all the finery for Aseneth's adornment with treasure chests, and there was much gold in it, and silver, and garments woven with gold, and precious stones of great price, and fine linens. All her girlish ornaments were there. The third room contained all the good things of the earth, and it was Aseneth's storehouse. And 7 virgins had the remaining 7 rooms, one each. And they used to wait on Aseneth, and were of the same age as she was, for they were all born on the same night as Aseneth. And they were very beautiful, like the stars of heaven, and no man or boy had ever anything to do with them. And Aseneth's large room, where she spent her time, had 3 windows. One window looked out over the courtyard to the east. The second looked to the north. onto the street, the third to the south. And a golden bed stood in the room facing the east, and the bed had a coverlet of purple woven with gold, embroidered with blue and fine linen. In this bed Aseneth used to sleep alone, and no man or woman ever sat upon it, except Aseneth only. And there was a great court all around the house, and a wall around the court, very high and built of great rectangular stones. There were 4 gates to the court, overlaid with iron, and 18 strong young men at arms used to guard each one of them. Along the wall inside the court, every kind of beautiful tree that produces fruit had been planted, and the fruit on every one of them was ripe, for it was harvest time. On the right of the court there was an ever-bubbling spring of water, and beneath that spring a great cistern that received the water from the spring, and out of that river flowed through the middle of the court and watered all the trees in it. And it came to pass in the 4th month, on the 18th day of the month, that Joseph came to this district of Heliopolis. As he approached the city, Joseph sent 12 men in front of him to Potemphares, the priest of Heliopolis, saying, "May I be your guest today? For it's near noon and time for a midday meal. The sun's heat is overpowering, and I would enjoy some refreshment under your roof." When Potemphares heard this, he was overjoyed and said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Joseph." And Potemphares called his steward and said to him, "Make haste and get my house in order and prepare a great feast, because Joseph, the mighty man of God, is coming to us today." And Aseneth heard that her father and mother had come back from their family estate in the country. And she rejoiced and said, "I will go and see my father and mother, if they have returned from their family estate in the country." She hurried back and put on a fine linen robe of blue woven with gold, and a golden girdle around her waist. She put bracelets around her hands and feet, and she put on golden trousers and a necklace round her neck. And there were precious stones all about her, with the names of Egyptian gods inscribed on them everywhere, on the bracelets and on the stones, and the names of the idols were stamped on the stones. She put a tiara on her head and bound a diadem around her temples and covered her head with a veil. She hurried and came down by the staircase from her story at the top. She came to her father and mother and greeted them. It gave Potemphares and his wife great joy to see their daughter adorned as the bride of God. And they took out all the good things they had brought from their estate to the country, and they gave them to their daughter. Aseneth rejoiced at the good things, at the fruit, the grapes, the dates, and at the doves and pomegranates and figs, for they were all delightful. Potemphares said to his daughter Aseneth, "My child." She said, "Lo, here I am, my lord." And he said to her, "Sit down, please, between us. I want to talk to you." And Aseneth sat down between her father and mother. And her father Potemphares took her right hand in his right hand and said to her, "My child." And Aseneth said, "What is it, father?" Potemphares said to her, "See, Joseph, this mighty man of God, is coming to us today, and he is ruler of all the land of Egypt. For Pharaoh has appointed him ruler of all our land, and he is the distributor of corn throughout the country, and is to save us from the famine that is to come upon it. And Joseph is a man that worships God. He is discriminating and a virgin, as you are today, and a man of great wisdom and knowledge, and the Spirit of God is upon him. The grace of the Lord is with him. So come, my child, and I will give you to him as his wife. You shall be his bride, and he shall be your bridegroom forever." And when Aseneth heard what her father said, a great red sweat came over her. She was furious and looked sideways at her father. She said, "Why should my lord and my father speak like this and talk as if he would hand me over like a prisoner to a man of another race, a man who is a fugitive and is sold as a slave? Is this not the shepherd's son from the land of Canaan? And was he not abandoned by him? Is not this man who had had intercourse with his mistress, and his master threw him into prison where he lay in darkness, and Pharaoh brought him out of prison because he interpreted his dream? No, I will marry the eldest son of the king, for he is the king of all the earth." On hearing this, Potemphares thought it was wiser to say no more to his daughter about Joseph, for she had answered him arrogantly and in anger. And behold, one of the young men from Potemphares' retinue burst in and said, "Lo, Joseph is at the gates of our court." And Aseneth quickly left her father and her mother, ran upstairs and went into her room, and stood at the big window that looked to the east, so as to see Joseph as he came to her father's house. Potemphares and his wife and all his relations went out to meet Joseph. And the gates of the court that looked east were opened, and Joseph came in, sitting in Pharaoh's viceroy's chariot. And there were 4 horses yoked together, white as snow, with golden reins, and the chariot was covered in gold. Joseph was wearing a marvelous white tunic, and the robe wrapped around him was purple, made of linen woven with gold. There was a golden crown on his head, and all round the crown were 12 precious stones, and above the stones 12 golden rays, and a royal scepter was in his right hand. He held an olive branch stretched out, and there was much fruit on it. Joseph came into the court, and the gates were shut. Strangers, whether men or women, remained outside because the gatekeepers had shut the door. Potiphar came and his wife and all his relatives, except their daughter Aseneth, and he made obeisance to Joseph with their faces to the ground. And Joseph got down from his chariot and extended his right hand to them. Aseneth saw Joseph, and she was cut to the quick. Her stomach turned over, her knees became limp, and her whole body trembled. And she was much afraid and cried out, "Where shall I go? And where can I hide myself from him? And how will Joseph, the son of God, regard me? For I have spoken evil of him. Where can I flee and hide myself? For he sees everything, and no secret is safe with him because because of the great light that's in him. And now may Joseph's God be propitious to me because I spoke evil in ignorance. What can I hope for, wretch that I am? Have I not spoken, saying Joseph is coming, the shepherd's son from the land of Canaan? And now, behold, the son is to come to us from heaven in his chariot and come to our house today. But I was foolish and reckless to despise him, and I spoke evil of him, and did not know that Joseph is the son of God. For who among men will ever father such beauty, and what mother will ever bear such a light? Wretch that I am and foolish, for I spoke evil of him to my father. Now let my father give me to Joseph as a maidservant and a slave, and I will serve him forever." Okay, that brings us to the end of chapter 6. There's probably going to do this again tomorrow. So the thing that I am loving about this story is that it reminds me of so many other beautiful stories that I love. There's a little Aladdin. There's a little Pride and Prejudice. There's a little Romeo and Juliet. There's the Bible. There's just so much richness. Anyway, yeah, I love the story. It's sensuous and erotic and colorful, and the fabrics are rich and the smells are good, and it's alive. This story is alive. So with all the focus on asceticism and separating ourselves from the beauty of this earth, I wanted to put forward a story that celebrates the richness of this earth from more of an ancient perspective, to show that it doesn't have to be like this. So I'm going to stop here because this is already much longer than I anticipated, and I have to get in the car and go to school. But part 1, Joseph and Aseneth. See you tomorrow. Mwah.